It's the SGG podcast. We're here with our podcasters. Say hello and introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Els Dahura.
Hello, I'm Chad Jetner.
Hi, I'm Peter Lawrence.
And I'm Kyle Bacher. And today we're going to talk about the Internet of Things.
Which
objects connected to the internet and home automation. So your home objects connected to the internet.
Yes.
Like your Fry Daddy.
My Fry Daddy is not connected to the internet.
Yet.
Everyone that ever owned a Fry Daddy melted the lid.
No.
And ruined it. No?
Did not. Nope.
You're the first. You're a pioneer.
Did you have a plastic Fry Daddy, Kyle? Is that what happens over there?
The lid, it was plastic.
The lid is plastic, and you put it on too soon and it melts.
There was a Fry Daddy and a Fry Baby, I think.
Yes.
Huh.
There were lots of Fry family.
So my first question is, what do you have hooked up to your internet? What objects in your house do you have on the web?
Wait, really quick. So with the Fry Daddy and the Fry Baby,
Yep.
there was a minivan with the
What?
the Fry Daddy sticker in the back, and then like three Fry Babies and the Fry Mom. Was there a Fry Mom?
I don't remember a Fry Mama.
Okay, back to the Internet of Things. I was just imagining the minivan sticker.
All right.
That's going to be in my head now for the rest of the podcast.
Kyle, do you have anything connected to the internet besides your computer?
Besides my computer, I have zero home automation. I have a box full of Wise cams because I was going to put up some cameras so I could see the front, backyard, into my porch, my driveway. You know, I look on Nextdoor once in a while, and it's catalytic converter thefts and car break-ins and stuff like that.
Lots.
So I thought I'd do the cameras, but I don't really have anything that is capable of being controlled over the internet other than those cameras that I have not hooked up yet.
And lamps.
Lamps, yeah, light bulbs. Nothing in my house is very smart.
Okay. Elle, how about you? Do you have a smart home?
I have a moderately smart home, I would say. I've got LifeX bulbs all over the house. We've got the smart smoke detectors, which I love because you can also pair it with the light bulbs so that when the smoke detector goes off, the lights will blink, which as a deep sleeper for sounds, that's really helpful for waking me up in the middle of the night if there's a fire.
I just thought you enjoyed your cooking more that way with the
More of a
incidental
disco dinner
smoke alarm
experience.
disco. Yeah.
I've also got some Wise cameras. What else? Thermostat. Solar panels they're connected via an app, so I guess that's less of a smart thing, but still an accessible part of the house.
Yeah.
You can't turn it off and on and control it, but you do get information from it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the bulk of it. I mean, smart TVs everywhere, but that's
quite a lot. I would consider you to be highly automated.
Yeah.
Highly connected.
Well, this is coming from the guy that has starting at zero.
Well, I did say I
Wise
consider.
cameras.
They're in a box and they're not hooked up. That doesn't count.
I programmed one of them. Oh, I've also got the door sensors in there. So it's more of a security system than really Internet of Things, other than you can get alerts and all that kind of stuff on your phone.
So a security system in a box just continues to be in a box.
My dream was to be in a room with like 50 TVs and where I could see every part of my house
Is that the escape room or the
Yeah, it's like it's a panic room.
panic room?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the panic room
But
experience.
I wouldn't have that as criteria for going into the room. I would be able to go in there like when I'm not panicked.
Right.
How many screens do you have in front of you right now? Is it just the one?
One. Yes. I used to do multiple monitors. I had
got the
three
big
27 inchers, and I decided that, or I actually did some research and didn't really use one of them ever. I found it to be more of a distraction. And I thought, what if I just got really good at using one monitor and switching windows, resizing, alt tabbing, that kind of stuff. And I wouldn't have to move my head as much and drag things as far.
Did you feel your neck movement was too much during the day?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. It's great for when you're like working on like websites, that kind of stuff. You got CSS, things like that, and you can test it and have that in one window.
Comparing
and have
documents
screen.
has always been my dual monitor dream.
But I decided then to go with one of those ultra wides. So I've got a lot of screen in front of me. It's ultra wide, but not very smart. Chad, what do you have hooked up to the internet?
I have. Now let me think here. Initially, I didn't think it was a lot. I've got a couple of Wise cameras. I have all of my lamps. So I don't have those smart light bulbs, right? Like I don't trust them for a lot of reasons.
Do you think they're going to take over the world?
Well, no, but I think they're going to burn out. And then when they burn out, you throw them away, and then they have your Wi-Fi password stored on there. And who knows, like that's a legitimate, serious concern.
Sure.
So
okay.
I don't necessarily do the light bulbs, but I do the smart plugs, right? So all my existing lamps, such as they are plugged into smart plugs, and so those are all controlled through this woman named Alexa here, and so all of that is pretty well automated, and it's nice too because I can like, oh, did I forget to turn off, whatever? I just have an app. I have my what is that thing called? Sonos, back on the shelf there by the whiskey. My Sonos, I have hooked up to the internet. That's controlled through my smartphone or.
What is a
Alexa.
Sonos?
What's that?
Speaker, smart speaker.
Yeah, it's a smart speaker. It's awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. That's hooked up to Alexa and the internet and everything else. It doesn't even have, I think it's got like one button on it. It's perfect.
Peter, are you checking to see if your Echo got activated when Chad said Alexa?
It did.
Did it really?
Yep.
Oh,
this time
is it still on?
No. It listens and then it goes away.
Okay.
Like a good smart device.
Alexa.
There goes.
It just has to be in passing conversation. You can't address it directly or it knows.
Really? Because that's like the entire point, is to address it directly. Okay, so what else? I got my smarts, my lamps through plugs. I got my speaker. My smoker is connected to the internet, and then so I've got a handful of smokers, and two of them are connected to the internet. One of them is a ceramic grill that takes charcoal, but it's got an array of thermometers that I put on extra. Those are connected to the internet. There is a fan for the ceramic smoker that is connected to the internet to control airflow and temperature and stuff. What else do I have? I have, goodness gracious, I feel like I'm honestly, one TV. That's all we have in the house. Just one single TV hooked up to Apple TV. It's not even smart. It's actually pretty stupid. The TV, right? Like it's not a TV guy. I think it was a 40-inch TV from 2 decades ago, just hooked up to the Apple TV through like 5 different connectors, connecting into something to make it work with HDMI or something. Love it.
The perfect system.
So I'm wondering, so that I can fully engage in this conversation, let's go with what theme should I do? Warming. Here we go. Change
there
the
you
lights in my room.
What is going on? Did
I'm
you just
changing
from
the.
your phone?
Her
And
room
your
got
light bulb
warmer.
just changes color.
Yeah, there's 3 lights on the top. We can go with Independence Day instead and be fully
Wait, go back.
patriotic.
Go back to warming.
Okay.
You look like you're right now. You look like chicken at KFC, like being ready to, like
You're
I think
under
that
the
fits
lamps.
the name of this color scheme very well in that case. Yeah,
I was going to
you're
say
under
there's a
warming
small fire
lamps.
off to your left, but
But I'm wondering, Chad, you mentioned you have a couple smokers and 2 of them are connected to the internet. Why did you need or want a smoker that was connected to the internet? What are your caveman smokers not doing?
Different smokers do different things, right? So one of them is a pellet, so it takes, it looks like bird feed, and feeds that through, and you can monitor the temperature throughout the day, and you can, like if you're smoking something for 6 hours, you can
ideally
through your phone. What's
you
that?
want consistent temperature throughout the entire cook.
Yep. But also because I don't trust stuff, I have fallback thermometers also in there so that I can make sure that the one thermometer in the smoker is actually true. Sometimes they're different, so I adjust the temperature there.
Do you pay a
But
temp
that's
employee
really
to
it. Like,
run out and check it and compare it with scientific thermometers too?
exactly. I actually do that. There's a method for adjusting your thermostats, right? You dip them into ice water and then you dip them into boiling water to make sure
Calibrating?
that, yeah. I do that because I really care. And then with the old school, like the ceramic grill, it's a big charcoal, it takes charcoal and stuff. That one's helpful to just be down here. It's supposed to you're supposed to, not have to add that much fuel to it. So I just like to be able to tell, okay, is it maintaining a consistent temperature? Do I have to open the vent a little? Do I have to close the vent? Do I have to add more fuel? I shouldn't. All of that stuff. All of that just to allow me to be able to sit in one spot and not care about it if I wanted to. Usually, if it's nice enough to be smoking and grilling meats, it's nice enough to be outside, and I will be outside watching the Twins.
I feel like we're kindred spirits because I have a Weber.
Yes,
That's all.
I love Webers.
Yeah, just a Weber.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can make steaks. The key is, like, if you don't have all that stuff, you're going to be just standing there the whole time.
Yeah.
You just can't leave it.
You actually can, even on the Weber, you still can and control the vents. You can even smoke ribs and stuff on your Weber. You can get a low and slow. You can do move all your charcoal to one side and then have a hot side and a cool side.
Indirect heat.
Indirect, yep.
Takes more
Get
work.
a slow and sear. One of those things where you put there's a water pan in the middle and all that fun stuff. Lots of stuff you can do with a Weber.
So
I might have,
IOG is what we're talking about.
yeah, the Internet of Grills. There you go. There's a lot of stuff, and I might have gone a little overboard. For example, I can no longer park in my garage, right? Because it's just full of grills and smokers and stuff like that. But that's what I have hooked up to my house. My grills. I've heard there's ovens you can hook up to the internet. I've heard that I don't have my thermostat's not yet. My no thermostat, no what are the other folks doing? No security system yet, right? Like, can you imagine what was the company, ADT? Right?
Yeah.
Those folks that used to come in and charge you, like a $5,000 installation fee and then $100 a month service just to do what you can do now for like $100 in Wise cameras and sensors.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
that's bonkers. ADT is like the travel agents now. Like, travel agents got displaced by by Travelocity and all those sites. ADT got displaced by Wise.
There are still I think there's still some travel agencies around.
There are. My mom works
you
at
can
one.
still, yeah.
But I think it's sort of like with the travel agency thing. Sometimes you want to be able to have that, like, they're going to take care of the little details. And so I'm wondering, Peter, if you can kind of talk about what you have hooked up. And I think you had mentioned when we were talking before that you had done some the if this then that connectors, which can be you're starting to get into some more work that people who are newer to smart home stuff might not want to do. So I don't know if you can speak to your experience with that too.
Well, I've done as little as I possibly can to do the things that I wanted to do at the time. I guess is really the thing. I've got, as far as devices and stuff, I have the lady in a tube, the Alexa, thermostats, and when I say, one Amazon Echo, I mean we have I think 7 or 8 Amazon Echoes around the house so that you can have the Star Trek experience of yelling out something somewhere and having it picked up. Yep. I have not set the activation word to that, but you can.
That was my follow-up question is, can you set a different activation word?
You can. There's 3 of them, and computer is one of them that is actually
nice,
able to be selected.
Now I want one.
I had an Alexa for a short period of time, and I always liked the skill that was say Alexa Red Alert, and it just starts the Star Trek
goes to Red Alert
deck.
Interesting
Sound klaxon.
I might have to install that for later.
Pretty great.
I've got cameras, I've got plugs, I've got water sensors, I've got a garage door hooked up to it. My stove is hooked up to the internet. My TVs are connected to it. I've got Roku's and Amazon Fires, and I think those are the only TV boxes that we've done at this point. And then if you go Bluetooth, you can talk about sous vide and things like that, but there you've got to be within 30 meters, and so you can barely leave the room. I mean, it's not Chad cooking where you can walk away and know what the fire's at, know what the food's at, know what the outside air is at.
You know what's fun is I can I leave my smoker, it's in the garage. So I leave it inside the garage when I'm not using it. But if I really want to scare my wife, I could start the pellet smoker from a bar somewhere and have the garage just filled with really sweet smelling smoke. And probably trigger L's Nest smoke detector. Yeah.
And you'd have a smoke detector disco and smoke coming out, fire department charge. Oh, it'd be so fun.
You mentioned
one time.
If this then that, I triple T, right? The if this then that stuff.
Yeah, if this then that.
That stuff gets really cool. I love using stuff like that. I haven't done a ton of that lately, but the ability to have just something out there saying, here's an API payload from this guy. What if you just piped that directly into this guy? I've even used that professionally for the commercial versions of that are things like Zapier. Have you ever used Zapier to connect things? That stuff gets really cool really fast, and the ability to just pipe in whatever. I did it for calendars like Spotify connects, or it used to connect to that.
Well, that's the
okay.
thing.
We got to roll back a little bit because I've never heard of if this then that.
Oh,
okay.
Kyle, you gotta dig in. It's awesome.
What are we talking about?
So it's a service connector, right? So it's if this action happens, then do that, right?
So are we talking about actions from devices around the house?
Gmail, Alexa inputs, calendar events, location actions, just tons of service, think hundreds of services. So if I get an email from this address, then I want to turn my thermostat up to 75 degrees, or, you can do crazy things like that where you can connect services that don't really make sense to be connected, but you can do little pieces of action on each of them.
Okay.
One of them is so you can hook it up to, if you have the Domino's app on your phone. If I order a pizza, turn on my porch light, right? You can hook it up to Evernote. If I get an email with this subject line, send that to Evernote and save it there.
Throw it in there. Yeah.
And then, you can schedule things to happen. If it's 6 a.m., turn on, this, if I have Sonos, so it does it automatically, but I could turn on Sonos at 6 a.m. and say, turn on this. If it's Tuesday,
Go
play
to the
yacht.
station. Yep.
Yeah. So think of if this then that as just like glue, connecting all of these services that wouldn't normally talk to each other together, right?
So like if I had a door sensor
Yep.
hooked up on my front door, when I trip it, it could shut off my TV.
Yeah.
It could shut off your TV. It could send a tweet.
Turn on all your lights that say, "Hey, I'm home." And when I walk in the door sensor picks me up and I want my lights to come on. Turn to the color blue and play me a welcome home song.
Mm-hmm.
I have a welcome home song.
That's what I mean. You get the whole ball game then.
Yeah. If I'm leaving, release a cage of doves so that,
Yes.
action,
And then order me some new doves from Amazon. It's ready for next time.
Alexa, order doves.
Well,
Yeah.
and I mean, you guys bring up Amazon, and that's one of the features or one of the things that they've started to try to do is, for I'll use the colloquial term porch pirates. You can actually have a way to connect your garage door opener to Amazon. So when the delivery driver's there, they push a button on their connected phone. It opens the garage door. They put the package in, and it closes. And then that is supposed to stop porch pirates. It may also encourage Amazon employee theft, but I'm sure they're very frustrated people.
The package goes in, the car goes out.
Yeah, it contributes to the thing going on in society where we're starting to trust strangers more and more and more these days, right? Be it the Amazon delivery driver that has basically your garage door key now.
Certain strangers are being well trusted.
We're
and
trusting companies.
Yeah.
I don't think we're trusting strangers.
I'd never know the Uber driver that comes to pick me up or the Lyft driver.
Right.
Those are all strangers.
But you trust that Uber knows that driver picked you up at that time. Like there's
I trust
it's all traceable.
I trust that driver is going to deposit my butt at gate 34 at Target Field in plenty of time for me to get in and watch the first pitch of a Twins game.
Right.
That's where the trust begins and ends for me. The rest of it, I think, is nice bonus, nice to haves, and a nice forensic trail if anything goes really bad.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. Like the forensic trail of the Uber driver and the Amazon driver and the DoorDash guy.
Right.
And
it's nice to know that they're going to catch the guy that did whatever to me.
My package was delivered at 8:05. My food was delivered at 8:06, and my package is gone. I wonder where it went. And then you look at your Ring cam and you see your DoorDash guy or whoever
picking it up.
Yeah.
Wait, so he literally took the gun or took the cannoli and left the gun? Is that what we're talking about here? Leave the gun.
Like better priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah. That actual scenario happened to a buddy of mine that does maintenance in their building. The package went missing and he went on the camera and it was one of the food delivery people that walked out with it.
Yep.
I think. Yeah.
What was he ordering? I mean, you can't just say, was he getting donuts?
I have no idea.
Was the value of the food more than the value of the package? These are.
Yeah. Was it Revival or was it Quick Trip?
Right.
Yeah. So
is there any security concerns that you have about outside people getting into your systems and messing with your devices in your house? Like there's no security concern about changing your light bulb to warm you know, it's not going to do anything except freak you out.
Yeah. Although I will say there is a Halloween setting so that my lights will flicker occasionally, and that's proven very fun around the holidays when people want to come to my door demanding candy.
There you go. That sounds awesome. I
wonder with the security stuff, like now that it's so pervasive, right? 3/4 of the folks on this call have that stuff.
Yep.
Right.
Do you think you're important enough for somebody to come over to your house and mess with your what? I mean, actually, for me, it would be kind of dangerous. If somebody hijacked my smoker, that would be a concern, right?
And quite a feat of strength.
Well, no, not really. You just have to be on my network, and you have to find the smoker and say start.
Right.
Oh, I
right?
thought you meant like come by and grab it.
No. Like an actual, I mean, if we're talking about actual security concerns,
Yeah.
Sure.
yeah, somebody turning on your lights, yeah, you got me. That's a great joke. Somebody turning on my smoker when we're sound asleep and causing, CO2 poisoning in the house,
Yeah.
you really got me.
So funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are the best.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Get you next time. So, I mean, yes, I think there's definitely a security concern. I was about to say it's more nuisance-based stuff, but the more I think about it, with what I have hooked up,
Right.
not really, right? Like somebody could really mess with you if they wanted to. And I think, having said all that, I am going to unplug my smoker from the internet when I'm not using it.
There should be kind of a hardware device where you could maybe set hours, like only accept commands during these hours.
You're talking about a light switch.
Or a firewall.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no, like a little thing you set on the device that can't be overridden over the internet.
I mean, that's the interesting thing, right? Like we put a small amount of trust, not a huge amount of trust, that my the guy that did the work for the security for the plug did their job and didn't use the password and didn't make it
Right.
eminently discoverable. I certainly have several firewalls in the way between my device and the internet. So attacking it is a little bit harder, but if the software gets hacked and they come in through the existing portal, then that's it.
Yeah, and I think if you make it reasonably secure, so it requires some kind of effort, to where it's not worth it, like to mess with somebody's lights or their smoker,
right?
Things like that. It's always about comfort level, and it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
Like, risk and benefit. Do you really, if you're really comfortable with doing that stuff, you're gonna load your house up with all these gadgets and hook them all up and not even think twice about it. And
my TVs tell me when my stove gets turned on and off.
If nothing ever happens,
they really?
then you were right.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. You were only wrong when something bad happens.
Right.
But
and
it
that's
does seem
usually when
to-
you become more secure.
Yeah, and it does rely on the customer having some, at least in my opinion, it relies on the customer having some sort of knowledge to, like Peter did, set up firewalls or to not keep the default password on their network or, and that's an expectation that may be too much for some people who don't work in tech, who don't enjoy tech,
Right. Nobody loves setting long passwords on things and then typing them constantly as their friends come over to use the Wi-Fi. All right. It's only 27 characters. Here we go. It starts with B, capital L.
Yeah.
7. I've said too much. Now I have to go change my password.
Yeah. Somebody write it down.
I got BL7, capital L.
If only that were true. So yeah, there's definitely trade-offs, and I certainly trust the giant corporation in Washington to handle the speakers in a tube to not, go crazy. And
I
So-
wonder
let
what,
Chad order things for me off the internet.
yeah,
There's
I
a-
wonder what that's going to look like though. I mean, what if that was ever compromised, right? So all of our devices, right? They
Right.
have to go up and out somewhere in
Yep.
order to service
Yeah.
mobile apps and everything else.
Right.
And how great of a joke would that be if somebody was able to actually just turn on every Amazon Alexa plug in the United States all at once, right?
Right.
And just see,
Well, that's the danger.
yeah,
Because then it doesn't matter if you're a small fish in the big pond, you're still in the pond.
Right.
what are the what are the national security impacts? Like, I would imagine that if every single device connected to a plug all turned on at once, something would happen, right?
No.
Would it take
Well,
down
we
the
get a
grid?
nice penetration test of our grid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think we're going to get on a hot day with all the air conditioners running and everything else, that's a good test of the grid.
Yeah.
Everybody
But-
turning on a light at the same time. I don't think that we are at the 100 million smart plug level yet.
So there's a convenience angle and a cool factor.
Yep.
There's also a savings angle.
Right.
So Al,
I
you
like to
mentioned
turn off
solar
at 10:30.
panels. You mentioned solar panels, so you're saving money on electricity.
hmm
Have you noticed, like with the thermostat stuff, things like that? Have you noticed a big savings in your gas bill and other areas?
Yeah, some. Because my thermostat has the ability to give me more aggregated data about when am I turning the heat on, when am I turning the air on, then that helps me get a better sense of, okay, I don't need it to be 68 degrees at 2 in the morning. I don't need it to be 80 at 2 in the morning either. So,
Yeah.
but that access to that kind of aggregated data is really useful. There also are built-in features that will tell you are using X amount of power compared to your area.
Right. Compared to
to
the
help.
people that we track in your area.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's useful. And then there are just settings where you can just say, nope, I'm going to prioritize energy savings. So if that means, in July, I might be a little warmer inside the house, so be it. So yeah, that's been helpful.
I will say going on vacation
Yes.
and turning off the thermostat or turning it down and then turning it up as I start my trip back so that
Yes.
the house is at the correct temperature when I get home has made me do that far more often than I would have otherwise.
There's also a security angle with just lighting.
Yes.
So the appearance that someone's home, the Halloween setting where there's occasional flickering.
Yeah.
Like I
It's
like to
really
leave my
helpful.
TV on, and that alters the lighting in the room enough to where people can think that somebody's in there.
Right.
I think the most effective thing security wise is leaving your outdoor lights on.
I can't
So
speak to
At
that.
a minimum.
So
But
the
yeah.
people stealing your package don't trip over anything on your porch?
That's right. They don't get
Horrible.
hurt and sue you.
So
Yeah.
that your snooping neighbors can more easily identify the person stealing
Oh,
the
so your
package.
outdoor cameras
Right.
can see these people as they're coming.
Well, just, people don't want to be seen doing their burglary. They're more likely to do things in the dark, sneaky things. So I have a nice big street light at the end of my driveway that just happens to be there. That's just where they put it. And it illuminates my whole driveway. So that's kind of nice. And then I always just keep my outside light on. in the front. So, yeah, I can see the benefits. I'm interested now in the thermostat. I only have like a 2-wire thing running to my furnace. Is that going to be a problem?
Yes.
Dang it.
For most of the things. A lot of them, mine in particular, gets its power from the circuitry. So
It's hard.
Elle gets her power from the sun.
Exactly.
How cool is that?
that's very cool.
Yeah, that's made a huge difference.
What have
Highly
you gone
recommend.
through winter with those solar panels?
No, they got installed in end of December, early January. So kind of we caught the end of winter with solar.
Okay. It'll be interesting with the snowfall and things like that. Does it have heaters built in to melt off the snow, or do you got to like scrape off the snow?
It does not have heaters built in because it's so what's the word? Visible. The snow tends to melt off pretty quickly.
Okay.
We do have a scraper if we need to. You kind of have to do a little bit of research to find one that is made for solar panels and not just roofs.
Yeah, just a regular roof rake where you're scraping the heck out of it. Yeah.
Just raw edge of metal scraping against a
I
solar
don't know
panel.
why it doesn't work anymore.
But the only downside, if I can call it that, is that snow will fall off the roof in sheets much more easily.
Oh yeah, random sheet
Oh.
fall.
You get sort of horror movie thumps every couple weeks or so. So if you could just get used to that noise and understanding that it's not someone breaking into your house or the arrival of giants, then it's all good.
There you go. Giant arrival.
Yeah. They wouldn't
Yeah,
start
there's
in St.
There are some folks in our neighborhood that have solar panels and we're kind of early adopters, and there's a ladder that sits mounted, well, not mounted, loosely up to their second floor every winter so that they can go up and clear them off, which
That makes sense.
seems to
I
be
suppose
a
it helps that I have a smaller house, so there's not we need a shortish ladder, but not very high.
shortish ladder in the ladder section.
Yeah. So what else,
what's
Peter?
next? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what else, Peter, have you taught your Echo to do? Is it like making lists? Is it ordering things? Is it?
I don't use it to order things. I don't have that kind of trust in it right now, and I order. I mean, it's easy enough to order off your phone. It's not like I need to yell out to the space.
Alexa,
Order more
spend all
paper
my money
towels.
for me. Yeah.
Please, I need paper towels stat. You know, I've played with some lists. I've hooked up some, like, I think it was Todoist was hooked up to that, so we could add chores to it a little bit. That was sort of hit or miss. It really needs a lot of words to add something to the to-do list, which was not great. I've hooked up the thermostat to it, so that's nice. I can yell out the temperature changes and it'll go from one temperature setting to another.
How specifically does that work, Peter? Can you do it for us really quick?
Sure. Alexa, set the temperature to 72 degrees. Yeah, I can turn the volume up.
Oh yeah.
Alexa, set the volume to 10. Not 10. Alexa, set the volume up 3. Wow, she's not listening.
Huh.
You'll need to get her a mic of her own.
Yeah.
So we can talk to her.
Yes.
Have her on the podcast.
Yeah.
So what's
mics
next
are
on your
good.
list of things you want to get?
I'm thinking of internet controlling outdoor Christmas lights. That seems to be like a fun thing instead of just a plain old timer, which is so boring.
It's so last century.
Yeah, they come on at the same time every single day, whether it's dark or light. And then it would be nice to tie the weather in so that they would come on at sunset and turn off at sunrise or at some particular time.
Then if you figure out how to program them to music, you should have a follow-up podcast to hear about that.
That would be, that would be a fun thing. I have played a little bit with light strips, but not crazy setting to music light strips.
I've seen there's a fella in our neighborhood that does that, where you can drive up to his house to turn your car stereo to a certain station.
Yep.
And then the light show is, Mannheim Steamroller or whatever the heck that is, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to the music. It's incredible. I have almost zero interest into it. It looks like a fun project for other people, and I'm glad that it exists in the world.
Glad that people are doing it for you. And
Yeah, absolutely not my thing, right?
Right.
Crawling up on my roof in October and then having to crawl up there again at the end of March.
Yeah.
Zero interest.
and you're running a radio station all the time, and you have to keep everything going and troubleshooting problems. And
You've got to license the music. You got to.
sure, you
Yeah,
have to
I'm sure.
do
I'm
that.
sure everybody that's doing that is.
Yeah.
They've licensed the music and gotten FCC approval for the radio and stuff, but
It wasn't just passed down from the DJ I knew to the other DJ I knew. They had a drive, external drive that, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
recorded off of a YouTube video. And
Yeah,
that's right.
exactly.
Sounds awesome.
Kyle, have we changed your
Harvests.
mind? Are you gonna start automating and connecting your house?
Yeah.
Really?
So I need to light up the backyard
Yeah,
and the top of the driveway.
right.
There's a lot of stuff I need to do to my house, like in terms of upgrading the electrical service, central air, things like that. So I'm going to do a complete like furnace, central air, water heater,
Ooh, the majors.
and service. Like I'm going to do all encompassing,
nice.
yeah, some kind of where I can finance it, maybe get some kind of rebates and breaks for energy saver. I got to figure out the magic of actually paying for it and all that. But I'm wondering, like, when I order those things, making them like ready, smart, capable,
Right.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then a lot of the home automation stuff, you can go with a hub model or just all the independent things, and I've chosen not to do the hub model just because it's still a little too up in the air. Like, this hub is better than this hub, and no, this device doesn't work with that hub, or doesn't work
company
with
that
the hub.
controls Hub A got bought out, and so Hub A's don't work anymore, and now everyone has to go to Hub C, and
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
pricing
Yeah.
has changed, and yeah.
And I haven't purchased the big camera plan or anything like that yet, just because it's doing what I need it to do. It's recording things when I want it to record. It's giving me peace of mind. I know my
Yeah.
doors are locked. I know that my garage door is closed. I can look at that and know that my garage door is closed when it was closed.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
I think that's the key thing, because like I mentioned, I used to have an Echo, but we just weren't using it. Like it
Right.
just
Yeah.
wasn't useful enough or fun enough to play with long term. That no, we don't need to keep it. But there are other
Yeah.
things that have proven to be much more useful.
Right.
Peace of mind, I think, is probably the first thing I would tackle.
Yeah.
Getting the cameras and the doors, because I used to have a dog that was my security system.
That would go off
Yes.
whenever you.
I felt
heard a
like
loud
if there was
noise.
anybody in the house, he would definitely let me know.
Right.
Dogs don't last forever, I discovered a couple of years ago. So I need something else
Right.
that's
Yep.
going to wake me up. So I need those door sensors. And I want to keep people from coming in the first place. So I think motion lights, automatic barking dog speaker.
Pretend barking dog.
Roof. Sounds like the speak and spell. Yeah. But that would help. That I think I'd sleep a little bit better. There's always that moment where I'm half asleep and then I hear something and I'm like awake again and ready, go on high alert.
Yeah. And you just take a peek at the cameras and like, oh, it's just a fawn or something like that going through the yard.
Yep.
Peter, you
goes
have
the
fawns
mouse.
going through your yard?
Oh, occasionally.
Oh,
It's way better
That's
than turkeys.
lovely.
Turkeys are a little bit of. They're a little bit
Turkeys are
aggressive.
jerks.
Yeah, they're very aggressive.
Yeah.
They like
Yeah.
being the boss. Deer are a
And
little
they
bit
will
more
block
skittish.
traffic and not move.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know where turkey confidence comes from. Like, what about that animal makes them that aggressive or that confident in everything? Because it's a ridiculous looking animal. It's,
It's like a honey badger in the form of a bird. It's got the confidence of a honey badger. Like, I can take that thing.
Well, I mean, it's got the ability to fly, so there's that, right?
Wild
Things-
I thought
beings
they
so
couldn't
cute.
fly.
Oh, they can fly and land in trees.
Honey
Absolutely.
badgers?
No, not honey badgers. Turkeys. They don't do it often, but when they do it.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to have to combine those things and smoke a turkey.
There you go.
And then make sure it all works well on the internet.
And then
Of stuff.
when the smoking is complete, it can be automatically sent over to your house, and then the lights of your house will turn on, and you will know that food has arrived.
That's right.
This is actually wonderful. So, Peter, when your outdoor cameras detect a turkey,
Yep.
right?
Then
Send it to me. I'll smoke it. When it's done being smoked, I'll send it to Elle. She can put it under whatever heat lamp she's sitting in right now.
there
Yeah.
you go.
And then once it's there, it can notify Kyle that
It's
dinner's
time.
Yep.
It's time to eat. Yeah.
Yes, and you
I'll be
can
over.
temporarily turn off the barking noise on your door.
That's
Yeah.
right.
All right. I
Perfect
think we
system.
figured it out. Well, I think that about wraps it up. That was the SDG podcast. Thanks for listening. If you want to get a hold of us, drop us an email at thepodcasters@solutiondesign.com. Until next time, say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.